Okay, so before you start drawing your staircase, you're going to want to make sure your units are set to inches. And to do that, you're going to want to go to Customize, Unit Setup. You're going to want to make sure that it's set to US Standard, and then make sure that inches are selected, and then press OK. Okay, after you have done that, make sure that you have the 4-quad interface, which you can choose by pressing this button and going down to the 4 quads. Then make sure that the top or plane view is highlighted, because that's where we're mostly going to be doing our drawing. And then go over to your command panel. And then under this drop-down menu where it says Standard Primitives, go ahead and change that to Extended Primitives. Once you've done that, go over to Object Type and choose Chamfer Box. Okay, then go over to that top view, press once, and drag. Then let go and drag your mouse up. See how it's adding volume? So, and then just press one more time for it to set. And then go back over to your command panel. Go down to Parameters over here. Make sure you can see the menu with length, width, height, and fillet, because we're going to change that to the required measurements. So under length, you're going to want to put 4 feet. Under width, go ahead and put 18 inches. Under height, put 2 inches. And under fillet, type in 0.25 inches. Okay, so now when you have the correct measurements, go ahead and position your stair at 0, 0, 0 according to the X, Y, and Z coordinates. So to do that, right click on your selected stair, make sure Move is selected, and then go down here to the X, Y, and Z coordinates and change all of those to 0. Okay, so once we've done that, the single stair should be right in the middle of the of our interface, and then we're going to make sure it's still selected, and then go to the Tools tab, and then under that go to Array. So here you're going to want to change these top coordinates of X, Y, and Z. So under X, you're going to want to put -1 foot. Keep the Y the same. And then under Z, put 9 inches. Okay, so once you have that, go down to Type of Objects and make sure Instance is selected. And then go under the Array Dimensions, make sure 1D is selected, and then you're going to want to put 18 stairs. So then make sure you press Preview before you press OK. So then it shows here how many stairs are going to be arrayed. So after you've previewed that, make sure that's still selected, you have all the right numbers in place, and then press OK. Okay. So once you have that, you're going to want to now draw the sides for your staircase. In order to do that, deselect that stair, go to Standard Primitives, and under Object Type, select Box. Okay, so then in your top view, once again, just go ahead and click and drag to draw that side. Let go, and then once again to add volume, drag your mouse up. You can see in the elevation view and in the perspective view how it's adding that volume. And then just press again. And then to get the correct parameters, we're going to once more go to the command panel and then go to the parameters section. And here's where you probably want to use all 4 views, since there's no specific measurements required for the side. You're just going to want to change the parameters accordingly to make sure it fits your stair. So you can go to length and see what that does. Let's put 1 foot. Doesn't really change. Let's put 4 feet. That's too wide. So maybe 6 inches would work. Okay. Under width, try to maybe 20 feet. There we go. Maybe make it a little wider. Let's try 22. Okay. That should work. And then under height, let's make it 2 feet high. Okay, so once you play around with those parameters and think that it's gonna work, you're going to want to rotate this side or this box to follow the stairs. So go to your select object icon, make sure that this box is selected, and then go to your rotate tool. And I find it easier to rotate in this second quad in the elevation. So press there, and then you can also see what's going on in the perspective. So let's go ahead and try to rotate. So just make sure it lines up with those floating stairs, and then you can go back and forth between the select and move tool and the rotate tool to make sure that it lines up and looks correct. And you can go between the 4 different quads to make sure it's lining up. So we can go back to this top view and move this so it's even and touching the stairs. And then we can go over here and make sure that it looks good. Okay. So once you have one side, instead of drawing another box and going through all those steps again, you can clone this box to the other side. There's 2 different ways to do that. You can either do Shift and then select Move to clone it, or you can go to Edit and then you can select Clone and make sure Instance is selected, not Copy Instance, and then press OK. And then you can just start moving it over and make sure it's, because it, you know, can move anywhere you move your mouse, so just make sure it lines up with the stairs and with the other side. So after that, you have pretty much completed the stair. You can go to the perspective or any of the other views and use the toggle to move it around and make sure everything's lined up and looks good. And that is how you make your stair.